Travis Wayne Goodsell. Today is the 24th of July. Utah does not celebrate becoming a territory. It does not celebrate becoming a state in the Union. It only celebrates when Brigham Young came into the valley. This is why Utah is having a super sacred, secret, holy day. I'm sure the parade is over with by now. I have my receipt to show where I was at this time. Oh, isn't that convenient, Travis? Yes, it is, isn't it? Yes, it is. And it has nothing to do with Pioneer Day, even though that's what it's called. Pioneers came in starting in 1851. But we don't celebrate that. We celebrate when Brigham Young framed and blamed Mormons, had the founder assassinated, stole money, stole the religion, turned it Christian, and fled the United States, and then offered up on an altar the UTE Indians. And that led me to the book of Abraham. You are about to witness the mighty powers of me. This is awesome. And it's too bad most Mormons are offended and left and fled, don't want to watch. They don't want to know the truth. They want to continue to lie and deny and follow Lucifer, which is the exclusive Mormon doctrine of Lucifer, to lie and deny. For which Mormons lie and deny that they worship Lucifer. And then they get mad at me because your hearts are set to do evil and were wholly turned to the God of Elkanah. Abraham. If you don't want to listen, you don't have to show up. You can go. I'm not forcing your agency like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is, by forcing you to be yoked to Jesus or bound to Jesus, whether you're quoting from Nelson or Oakes. Nelson likes to use the yoke. Oakes likes to use bondage. Oakes is into S&M. Nelson is old school, using farm equipment. Hilarious. So we have to set it up for you. We can't just go to it because you don't know any of this. You're brand new. Who are you? Why are you against the church? Why don't you leave us alone? You can leave the church, but you can't leave us alone. Really? Is that why you're at my channel making such a comment? Because I'm not leaving you alone as you make a comment on the video you clicked on. I can't leave you alone, huh? Lie and deny that they worship Lucifer. And so, Book of Mormon is Jewish. Joseph Smith, Jewish. Bible, Jewish. Real simple stuff. It is an established fact. The new pope Leo, refuses to acknowledge to his followers that 1,700 years ago, and I would laugh hysterically if it's today, but there doesn't seem to be a record of when he said it, at least that I'm aware of. Roman Emperor Constantine took a trip across the mighty Mississippi to Turkey, where he forced all of the congregations from all in the Middle Eastern area. They were not Christians. Christianity had not been created. This is what Constantine's master plan is for his final solution to exterminate the Jews once and for all, is to create a brand new religion. Rome had unsuccessfully been able to murder these people, as they were now wanting to be martyrs in the war. So they were doing kamikaze stunts, and Rome was getting pissed. And so he forced them all together if they wanted funding for their congregation, and money talks, BS walks, and which you paid for the BS. Nonetheless. And from May until the end of this month, which it was in a different calendar back then, and so it just understand the context of when things were invented. Don't pull an anachronism. But 1,700 years ago to this day was the Nicene Creed, the very first. And in that first creed, they made the decision to create a new Christ, named him Jesus. There are lots of other names to choose from. They chose Jesus. And so they chose the specific Jesus that are in the Jesus stories that are put in the New Testament for the Roman period of time. Roman Emperor Constantine. So not the Jesus that has been placed in chronological order after the 5 books of the authors attributing themselves to Moses. Joshua's Hebrew for Jesus, which is Greek. I have to explain everything. Everybody's new. Nobody knows anything. Everybody thinks they know everything when they don't know anything. And then you say that I'm wrong because you've heard the tradition, which is wrong. Unbleepin' believable. And so, yeah, they turned everything into literal history. It wasn't just the Jewish scriptures. It was the Roman scriptures, they're now literal histories. The Greek scriptures, they're now literal histories. Babylonian, Persian, Hittite, Canaanite, Egyptian, Babylonian, Assyrian, all of it is now literal history. Not a single one of it is prophecy and revelation anymore. They now deny prophecy and revelation. Literal history. And so, 75 years later, some Christians were trying to compile what they believed were true literal history versus the fake news literal histories. And thus the fake news literal histories are called pagan or pseudepigrapha. Fake writings. Christians gave them the name because of the first creed of Christianity. And as a result, those guys, 75 years later, decided to create combinations of specific Jewish documents. There's one Persian one, which is, it's sort of Babylonian, but under the Persian rule. The story of Ishtar and Marduk, which is also in that Old Testament, I believe. What order is that one in? We'll come back to Abraham. We'll come back after Nehemiah. Okay. That's where she is. And so thus was created the Bible, of what they approved according to the first creed of Christianity. Now, the nature and character, they could not decide. And Constantine got fed up with them for not being able to decide. And thus, he gave the infamous shout out of anger that he made up, combining Greek words together, homoousion. Still in the first creed to this day in Greek. The English that they have on Wikipedia says con, without, substantial, substance, without substance, thus not real. Because he made up the word. For the nature and character. There is no nature, there is no character. He's without body, parts, and passions, as you've heard it in the church. He's not real. Very simple thing to understand. But in so doing, they said, well, he can be real if he wants to. Thus, the virgin birth, immaculately conceived, like all born-again virgin Mormon girls. So sad, the sex abuse that goes on in this church. Nonetheless, we're talking about virgins today. We have a whole week of virgin stories for you. Okay, and so Latin Vulgate is the one that put in Lucifer and Isaiah, and the Book of Mormon kept that version from the King James. You need to pay attention to that, because if it was on the brass plates, if they were real, there wouldn't have been Lucifer. Oh, well, Travis. No, not literal history, you dumbass. You're using the first creed to justify the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You can't do that. Makes you evil or stupid. You choose. You're free to choose. One or the other, stupid or evil. Which is it? You choose. I'm not going to take away your agency. You are free to choose. So yes, the Jews are talking about a human being who is their coming Christ. And they give you the days and the hours. The 10 virgins, Joseph Smith exclusively tells Mormons, when the time of the 10 virgins is fulfilled, your Christ is here. And who is the one and only one human who told you? Exactly. In You don't believe them, and you want them dead, and you want them cyber-terrorized, and tortured, and abused, and silenced. And you have no clue what it is you're doing. But I'm not going to ask God to forgive you, for you know not what you do. Burn them. Joseph Smith can say that. Burn them. I have no tolerance for stupidity that turns into evil. None. You had the scriptures your whole life. You could have studied them like you were told to do for school books. You didn't do it with the Book of Mormon. It's on you. You stayed Mormon. You didn't bother to learn Mormonism? Really? You go to apply to work at McDonald's and you say, I have no interest in actually participating in employment here. I just want to be employed because I need the money. So I'm just going to sit day after day in this bench right here. If you want to give me some free food, that would be great too. If you're going to be a member of something, you kind of need to know it. You need to learn it. If you're just in for a social club, you don't need the church for that. You just get a group of people together and socialize. You don't need to call yourselves the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints when you have no interest in being a Mormon, a member of that religion, let alone studying to find out that this is the great and abominable Church of Lucifer. Exclusive doctrine, they lie and deny. No duh. I don't get Mormons. It doesn't make any sense to me. I grew up being told and taught to study the scriptures, to be scripture-oriented. If this is my religion, I'm going to need to know it. These born-again Christians seem to know more than I do about it. They're saying that I'm not allowed to drink this thing called coffee, which is in the grocery store aisle that I never go to because it smelled so bad. And they did that on purpose to lure people there to drink it, to buy it. Ain't touching the stuff. If it doesn't look good or smell good, it ain't going in my mouth. No way, Mommy. I'm allergic to all things green. It's an awesome mac and cheese commercial. It was awesome. Along with the other one. One more bite. No! You see, kids, back in my day, our shows were interrupted with commercials. And so now, you can sort of tell from YouTube as they interrupt your shows with commercials. We got away from that, and now they're back. YouTube has it set up for these companies to put their commercials on their own channel. And yet, YouTube bleeped us in the drive-thru, they bleeped us in the... I had Lethal Weapon on my mind today. Joe Pesci. And so... This is real simple, Abraham. The thumbnail picture explained it all to you. We're just doing extra stuff for those of you who are new, hoping that you can get caught up if you can endure to the end of this intro. For some reason, you can't figure it out from the picture. Or we're offended and you're coming here to prove me wrong with your spiritual witness feelings. I'll show you, Travis. I'll bear false witness testimony of the truth of the falsehood. scripture stories is Elijah versus the priests of Baal. I also like Matthew 23, where Jesus goes off on the Pharisees. And Joseph Smith in the King Follett sermon. My role models. Hilarious. All right. And so, Jewish Christ. Joseph Smith makes it very clear, Jewish Christ. Section 103, verse 16 is the decoder ring for everybody. It's the Cracker Jack box that Miss Parker gave to Anthony? I'm forgetting the name. No more Timmy. I've been watching it for days. It's finished season 2. I'm forgetting it? Unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, she gave him a Cracker Jack box, and so he has Cracker Jacks for the rest of his life because of that. And he doesn't get money, so he has to steal them from the vending machines. They don't really go over that, but you have to assume that that's the case, because they don't get money if you're a test subject in their torture chamber at the center. So the man like Moses is the Jewish Christ in section 103. Mormons are the people. And so regardless of what scripture you go to, whether it's Jewish, Roman, Greek, Babylonian, Persian, Egyptian, Hittite, Canaanite, the hero of the story is always the Christ, whom Joseph Smith says is a Mormon. You would know him because he will demonstrate for you on YouTube the gifts of the keys of Moses, seer, prophet, revelator, day and hour revelator, not inspiration revelator, which the church calls translation, and not translator because the church doesn't want anything to do with translation. Benson came out with First Presidency statement on why we won't translate the Bible correctly. Say, we're not translators. We ain't touching it. And so, yeah, they won't prophesy either. We won't predict the future. Ain't going to happen. You ain't getting us to do it. And let alone, we will never give you a day and the hour. Ain't happening. We've learned from other false churches not to do that. So, wait a minute. You claim the titles, but deny the gifts and powers thereof. Yeah. False prophets. Very plain, pure, and most precious for you Mormons. Exclusive Mormon doctrine. Just unbelievable. And so, yes, I demonstrated it all throughout these latter days. They're over with now, by the way, in case you were clueless on that. You missed it. You never looked for them. They came to pass, and they passed. Over. You missed it. And so now we're waiting for Armageddon and the coming of Jesus in the mushroom clouds of glory to burn all of you. Don't worry, if you're righteous, Oak says you'll be resurrected. It's most likely a spiritual resurrection, though. Not a physical one. You might want to ask him about that. He's got tardive dyskinesia. We don't know how much longer he has left. Oaks got leaked. In case you missed it, you never found out about it from the popular Mormons, with the other over 100,000 Mormons who know about Sister Jessica. She's most likely assassinated by now, because the church knows who she is. God. Along with President and Sister Marquis. You can't leak Oaks. He doesn't like it when people leak him. Doesn't like it. Right, Ballard? Yep, and there was also the scandal of Scott. Also the scandal of Scott. So, Parable of the 10 Virgins. I've already talked about Parable of the 10 Virgins in the context of the latter days, and one thing led to another. That is not the theme song in the description below. Obviously, we're going to have Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Obvious one. Can't pass that one up. And so, as you follow my channel all these years, which you didn't, you see where my mind goes as it builds upon each other. Step by step, line upon line, precept upon precept. I'm also teaching you. And you missed it, you're late, there's too many videos, they're too many hours long, you're never going to catch up. You might as well just give up and die in the burning of Jesus. And forget about the parable. It talks about the workers in the final hour at the latter days. Start where you are. And as long as you're working in that direction, you will get to go to Zion. But if you just say, it's too much work, I'm not going to do it. I'm not interested in being a Mormon anyway. I'm just a Jack Mormon, spiritual Mormon, as John Huntsman Jr. says he is, being on Epstein's client list, on Pam Bondi's desk. Went missing. Where did the desk go, Pam? Yep, Stephen Colbert, Unchained. Raw, Stephen Colbert. Yep. Unbelievable. So, Parable of the 10 Virgins is just like every other Jewish document. Prophecy with its accompanying sign in the heavens. So yeah, 10 virgins. I was doing the other 10 virgins video the day before, and that evening I thought, I wonder. Let's check. Just check this one thing, then I go straight to bed. Sleep is getting all screwed up this summer. Especially with a dream this morning. You have to watch the previous video to learn about that dream. Anyway. And so, yeah. What eventually resulted was the video I did the next day and postponed the Trump Ice 2025 Armageddon 2 Civil War 2 Against Mormons video until the next morning, combining the two together. For which the Mormon was furious with me last night. All the evidence is out there. I don't understand why all the news can't put all of their news together like I am able to do. The answers are there, and yet they pretend like they didn't even cover it before. It's all new and shocking. We didn't know Trump was a racist. He's racially profiling people he's deporting. We didn't know Trump could possibly want to deport people. We just thought he was locking up criminals. What? Wall Street Journal leaked that Trump was on the list? What a shock! Oh my God! This changes everything! I just want to scream! Just want to scream! And Mar-a-Lago, oh my God, he was bringing him there. There were other people there. Oh my God, we never knew. Do I have it, or did I not bother to keep it on here? Oh, nope, I do. So we'll take a little extra time. Delay the obvious from the Book of Abraham that I already gave you in the thumbnail picture. I already told you, we already know everything. The news already covered all this. This is not new. It is not breaking news. They're tricking you. Either that or they forgot. Unbleepin' believable. God. Okay, so K's. Rugs, security, Switzerland, TWA, United Airlines. There's Jeffrey's numbers. Massage parlors in New Mexico, massage parlors in California, and they're not actual massages. They're the ones there on 1735th that got busted. That kind. Everybody knows. And yet the cops took that long to figure it out. Unbleepin' believable. Okay, so we went too far. Oh my God. If I use happy ending, would that make any sense to you? There's Trump. And so the Trump organization, they're on 5th Avenue, where he can shoot anybody and get away with it. Yep, there's Mar-a-Lago. Yep, there it is, Mar-a-Lago. We know! It's not news! We know! It's right there. He also has a couple other places, too. I'm not able to blow up a PDF, so I'm not able, but there's, I can't read them, but even has the number for Trump security, and then, oh look, that's the Melania number, because that's also very telling. Melania is also involved, because she's not listed under the names, just Ivana and Ivanka. Oh my God, this is so horrifying. And there's the pizza parlor where Hillary was. Okay, Z's, here we go. Here are all the client lists. Okay, so we have Robert and Blaine Trump, and Ivanka, Ivana Trump, and here's Blaine and Robert Trump, also, you put them twice because they have different places. Ooh, okay. So yeah, Blaine, Robert, Ivana, Ivanka, and Melania. Not just Donald. All on the client list, guys. Trump is used for his hotel and his Mar-a-Lago place for gatherings and parties with happy endings. Obvious. So cut it out, news. Stop teasing people. We know virgins are getting sacrificed all over the world. With high-profile people that are on that list. We know. It is not a surprise. So yeah, the 10 virgins is about 5 lunar eclipses. Those are the foolish ones who are darkened in their mind, from section 86 that I went over with you about tares. Joseph Smith goes over, says Brighamites converts are converting other Mormons with tares, lying to them. And Benson came out and told them to stop it. The whole church is still under condemnation. Oops, 86, not 68. Yep. And so, oh no, it's 84. The mind is darkened. Okay. So here's where the field is white, all ready to be burned. The Mormons are to be bound to Jesus in bundles and then burned. Right there in section 86. Don't you believe Joseph Smith? No. 84. Now I was thinking it was 64, but it's 54, if I remember correctly from this morning. Yep, sure enough. And your minds in times past have been darkened because of unbelief, because you are not treating the Book of Mormon like you should. You're treating it lightly. And this vanity and unbelief has brought the whole church under condemnation, which resteth upon everybody, unless you repent and study your Book of Mormon. Exactly like I did. I don't expect other people to do what I'm not going to do. It'd be nice if you would do what I don't want to do, so I don't have to do it. But you didn't, and so I had to do it. As a result, your minds are darkened. Tares, because of the lies. Solar or lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse too, but that's for government. Moons for religion. You know, the Egyptians. Had to decipher Paleo-Hebrew because nobody else could figure it out. It was real easy. Did it in a combined time of probably 3 days. But I had to support a family at the time and work overtime during the Christmas rush. And then she wanted to leave me because I didn't get her a white picket fence house all to ourselves immediately after graduating and moving to Utah. Bleep you. What do you mean you don't want your kids learning Hebrew? It's the biggest discovery ever. Now everybody wants me dead. Dear God. Okay, so thus lunar eclipses. And so knowing the latter days, because of the Book of Mormon, going over the 11-year time period, the 7-year time period, also 8-year for 7 and 8, which is 15, which is also in there in dates. Coming up, Passover and Tabernacles, tents, for the Jews is on the 15th of the months. and those two 15s. So, and if you'd been following me at least from the beginning of this year, you would have seen me do the lunar eclipse video in February and the Passover moon in April. It was March, wasn't it? Yeah, it was March. A month apart. Oops. I need it referenced in front of me. Don't memorize. And so these things were leading to, again, doing, as I was inspired to do the parable of 10 virgins. And then that night, I was inspired to check. I wonder. Let's check. Oh yeah, I did it earlier this year with the final one that I didn't know about until I did the research, because I had all 11 years I was going over, and then realized I had a big old project going on, and then I was trying to figure out, okay, wait a minute, there's only 10. So 5 are lunar eclipses. I found those. So which ones are the full moons in Virgo that aren't lunar eclipses? I'm going, there's too many extra years. How do I figure this out? And then I'm just, oh my God, I did it this year. And so I went and checked, and oh my God, it was so easy. Every year, which were 5, that were lunar eclipses, there was an additional one for the full moon in Virgo. And so, sure enough, the prophecy of the parable of the 10 virgins with the day and the hour accompanying the prophecy. So Mormons are supposed to look for that. Section 85 or 45, verse thrown away, 56 maybe, for Joseph Smith's exclusive warning to Mormons. When you see them getting fulfilled, your Christ is there. And I'm the only one who let you know about it. You didn't know about it from anybody else. Nobody told you, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's just me. Because there was only one guy who had figured out 23rd September 2017. I went and checked after I found out. I was going, does anybody else know? Does anybody else know about these others? And so I don't want to do the work myself. Is somebody else doing it? No. But there was one guy who did it a year before me who found the 23rd of September 2016. So I had confirmed that he is correct, and then corrected him because he didn't know anything about it. He just knew that it was a match with Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. He didn't realize that verse 5 needed to be moved to verse 3, which is in the Joseph Smith translation. Joseph knew. So because Joseph knows, therefore, when he put in section 45 of the dates of the 5 lunar eclipses for the parable of the 10 virgins. Joseph Smith also knows because of the book of Abraham, which I've been going over with you for years, with that picture that I've been showing you. Facsimile number 1, facsimile number 2, facsimile number 3, and there's a sign in the heavens above them. What is this? I don't understand. Joseph Smith knew. He knew the dates. That's why. Have you never even seen the papyri? There are a whole bunch more pictures on them. He didn't choose those pictures. He chose those 3. And the one wasn't even on the papyri. It was a separate hypocephalus that was used on the back of the head of the pharaoh, or whatever was mummified, from the Kamambo Temple District. Oh, right. I'm the one who had to figure that out, because nobody else could. I have to do everything. I'm a lazy, privileged kid. Why? Why am I being tortured to study? Why? Why can't people just give me the answers like AI? Didn't just be true rather than fake AI that gives terrors. You do understand the danger we're in, right? If AI takes over everything, humans won't know how to do anything because AI is doing it and telling us the answers. And as a result, if AI goes down, humans are back in the Stone Ages, unaware of how to build anything, how to make anything, how to create, how to invent, how to learn. Science is gone because AI told you fake lies. Joseph Smith warned you with wheat and tares. You're not listening. You're listening to AI tell you what the Book of Mormon is saying, and it's lying. I did the test for you in videos. So, yes, the first facsimile of Abraham being sacrificed on an altar is the 21st of August 2017 solar eclipse. So not only does Joseph Smith know the day and the hour, he knows the location on Earth, and that's why the Article of Faith, number 10, or is it 12? I don't memorize. Ten. We believe in the literal gathering of Israel. This is the millennial gathering. It's not missionary gathering. How hard is this to understand? The church is lying to you. Stay where you are. Of Israel and the restoration of the 10 tribes. That Zion, the New Jerusalem, will be built upon the American continent. There's a reason why he says this. That is not Jerusalem, where evangelicals are arguing with Israel about wanting to come and move to Israel right now. And Mike Huckabee to the rescue. Because they believe Jesus is coming. They're making it happen. So it's going to be true. Right, Oaks? Okay? Solar eclipses shine a shadow on the Earth during the eclipse. We all know this. It happened. We witnessed it firsthand with our actual eyes. And we didn't go blind because you didn't look at it, right? But yes, stories will talk about blinded people because of the eclipse. They're giving you the date of a solar eclipse in the latter days. Very plain, pure, and most precious. Obvious for anybody who understands the learning of the Jews, as all Jews did until Christianity came around and screwed everything up. And so this is what Joseph Smith is doing for you with the Book of Abraham. It's not literal history either. All of you expo nevermos who think you got the church because the Book of Abraham ain't true either. It wasn't written by Abraham because it was written during the Ptolemaic period or something like that, or 300 years, whatever date it was. Come ombo. Real simple. And so yes, it's Osiris on the altar. Duh. And yes, it's Anubis. Who's sacrificing him? Duh. And yes, the bob bird. And yes, because it's Osiris, there is a hawk, falcon, Isis bird hovering above him. No duh. We all know this if we know Egyptian. blatantly obvious. But this is not what Joseph Smith is doing. He is not giving you the Egyptology answers. He is giving you the Jewish answers of their scriptures that they did to the Egyptian documents. Prophecies and revelations. And so you have Hebrew names in place of the Egyptian names in the Bible. You have their stories rather than the stories of the Egyptian stories. Every single culture did the same thing until Christians came along 1,700 years ago right now and screwed everything up. So the Romans, who are their hero gods? That's the same Emmanuel, the man like Moses, Messiah, Ben David of the Jews. They're all the same. And so the Zeitgeist movement, we finally figured it out. The Bible is plagiarized, so it's worthless, like the Book of Mormon. No! No! Don't hastily conclude. Keep going. Why is it plagiarizing the Egyptian documents? That's what you need to figure out. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Another one bites the dust. Okay? So this is all Joseph Smith is doing. This is not intended to be literal history, but in so doing, oh my God, he upset Zawi Hawass so bigly. When DNA was invented, some DNA scholars, under the authority of the Egyptian government, allowed some of the mummies of the pharaohs to be tested so that they can do a genealogy, so the Egyptologists can confirm family links. And so obviously they had their pre-conclusions that everything must be faith-promoting for, as Zawi Hawass, the director of Egyptian antiquities of all Egypt. The results came back, and Joseph Smith is true. Canaanite. The blood of the Canaanites is preserved. Brilliant. Joseph was just brilliant, just like his daddy, who taught him. Just incredible. So yes, this is what I'm doing, is showing you and telling you how Joseph Smith is even more awesome than I already knew he was. Not just his daddy, who taught him to be awesome. And so, we have the story of Abraham. And Joseph is using that to talk about the latter days. I've already done the video about Enoch from the selections from the book of Moses, chapter 7, I think, that the whole thing about Enoch coming from outer space to New Jerusalem in the United States of America, that's the prophecy of the Exodus to Zion. Has nothing to do with literal history of space aliens coming back to Earth from Battlestar Galactica. It's, great entertainment, but not based in reality. And so it's the same thing here. When he says, refer to the picture at the beginning of the book, that's facsimile number 1. Abraham. He's referring to the 21st of August, 2017, the first year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, 2017. As the Book of Mormon then tells you the date of the coming of the Christ, 23rd September 2017. Revelation. Everybody knows. They didn't know the others. I did. And wouldn't you know it, Monson goes down on verse 3, or 4. Yeah, 4. It became 4 because it got merged with 3, because 3 got moved to 4, because 5 got into 3. Hike! Alright? And so, I've been telling you also about how this also fixes, or answers the question that Jews have had as to what in the hell is Canaan getting cursed for what Ham apparently did when Noah was drunk in his tent. Nobody could figure that out. It was a big confusion in everybody's mind all these millennia since it was first written by the Qumran community. And Joseph clarifies it for you. Brother and sister had sex. They weren't supposed to. There were other families that they were supposed to get a spouse from. And they had Noah, when he was drunk, seal them together. All right here by Joseph. And thus is accurate because that's the whole Egyptian theology. The Heliopolis creation glyph. Nut and Geb, brother and sister, have the naughty. Adam doesn't like this, so he tells his son, Ashu, which is Genesis chapter 2. The wife is also in chapter 2 of Genesis. To separate them. Don't let them have sex. Too late. She's already pregnant, just like Penny. The bloodline. Final destination. We're all doomed. And and so then King David has to step in and create 5 extra days in the civil calendar so that on those days the 5 children would then born. All Egyptian stuff. All dates, prophecies for the latter days. Nonetheless, Joseph Smith knows, and he's talking about it for you. And he's putting it into a story form like the Jews did, like all pagan witchcraft people did. Name called and bullied by the new Christian religion on the block. We're the new white supremacist Christian nationalists. Deport them all! Burn them! Murder, death, kill. So 3 virgins popped into my head this morning. And sure enough, it's because of the 3 at the beginning of the latter days. Joseph Smith is using this to talk about 2014 to 2016 that are sacrificed as lunar eclipses. Because even Eva Vasilevska at the University of Utah said that there is no evidence of human sacrifice in Egypt. It was King Midas who, in the old world, began human sacrifices in his little maze kingdom there on whatever island it was. Can't remember, I don't have the reference in front of me. And so I'm seeing that at that time and going, oh yeah, okay, so it's not really a sacrifice because he's alive, as I could decipher back then. It was very clear, he's not dead yet. It's being murdered alive. And so the mummy comes out with Brendan Fraser, and we all learn about the Humdai, and Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that happening. It's a story about how a person is getting murdered alive in a mummified tomb. The scarab beetles. Supernatural stuff included. Because you're not supposed to turn it literal history. The Book of Revelation almost didn't get in because it was too wild and crazy even for the first creed. Flying horses in outer space. Immaculately conceived women. Virgins. So yes, that's all it is. 3 virgins. 2014, 2015, 2016. 2017 is Abraham being sacrificed on the altar, which comes after. Ta-da! Real simple, real easy. There you go. I did it. Nelson didn't. And nobody's listening.